another edition of the Making an Impact podcast. I am your host. Um. I'm your host. I'm Chad Portal. Joining me as always is my co-host Zachary Duncan, Tyler Pew Pew, Esquire. What be good, Daddy?
Good stuff, man. There's good stuff going around here. Not so much out in the wrestling world these days, but
No, there's what we like to call the big dumb.
yeah, 2020 is just a fucked up year, man.
Well, what's that old Harvey Two-Faced Dent saying? It's always darkest before the dawn. Maybe we shouldn't quote him because he went full bad guy.
Hmm.
Like he ended up looking like burnt salmon. I'm sorry, not burnt salmon, blackened salmon. And then he's all like, I'm angry," and I'm like, I don't
I
know.
wonder how.
Your face kind of looks delicious. Can I try some of your barbecue?
I wonder how many people still don't realize he died at the end of Dark Knight.
People don't realize he died of the Dark Knight. Like that, literally, like the whole point of the Dark Knight Rises was Harvey Dent's dead, yo, the only hero we had left, and the Batman killed him.
Exactly. Exactly. I have spoken with people who were positive that Harvey Dent was alive. I was just like, if he's alive, then the whole ending of blaming everything on the Batman doesn't make any fucking sense.
I don't know who these people are, Zachary, but I don't want you hanging out with them anymore. I don't think they're positive influences.
You are not my father.
The paternity test I'm about to take is going to say differently. Notice how it says it's going to say differently, not will. As in, it don't matter what it says. I'm going to make it say what I need it to say. Chad, you are the father. Now, can I get off the chair? What do we say, Maury? That if I get off the chair to explode? Thank you for listening. See, Maury's on my side. So, before we start off with this edition of Impact, it would be unethical of us. No, not unethical. That's not fair. It would be professional of us to acknowledge that one of the individuals who's on the roster, Kimberly, has a very big hand in the last few years of a indie promotion called Chikara. I don't think she's the only one on the roster to come from there, because a lot of guys have gone through Chikara at one point or another. But Kimberly was the company's first ever women's grand champion, a belt that had never been held by a woman before. So I think Kimberly has some pretty historic relevance to the company. Herself, the Colony, which is a trio of wrestlers dressed up as ants, and a good 20-odd other wrestlers and employees announced today that they were leaving the company due to allegations against Mike Quackenbush, ranging from everywhere from abuse to assault to even some of the sexual no-nos. I don't want to say exactly what, because those allegations are being spoken through intermediaries, and I don't feel confident speaking those accusations out in the open if they're not willing to. You know what I mean? But a lot of it's just real scummery. And to be fair, I would say this is on the more, I don't want to say the more docile side, but like when you hear the things like Joey Ryan was doing and Dave Crist were doing, this is like, those were 8s, 9s, and 10s. These were 5s, 6s, and 7s, I would say. Still not good. And because of the allegations and the fact that there was a plethora. Si el guapo, I would say you have a plethora. That's my favorite fucking line in a movie. I don't know why. What is a plethora? Oh, Three Amigos. You're only half good. Seriously, it's like 2.5 hours long. Like an hour and a half in, it finally gets good. You can skip everything before then. Like once they start looking for the mystery, invisible, wayward guy who's supposed to lead them to El Guapos, it kicks off real hard. Like that scene and the plethora scene, like that's when you're getting into the goodness. Anyway, so Quackenbush announced today that he's shuttering the doors of Chikara forever. He's also resigning as the lead trainer of the Wrestle Factory, which was I thought it was Chikara's own training school, but I guess it might be independent of Chikara. I didn't realize that. And there's being a lot of doubt casted over a lot of the top employees over the last few years, namely Bryce Remsburg, about what did they know and what did they allow. Bryce Remsburg was also accused online of basically throwing a hysterical, I don't want to say hysterical, that paints a negative view. I would say a emotionally distraught woman basically out on her ass when she had nowhere else to go. And the story basically was that she was working for free for Chikara, doing a tour of the UK, taking photos for them. And the only thing she was charging was room and board, essentially. It was like food and rooms. So like it was up to Chikara to properly board her and feed her. But she would waive her fee otherwise. At one point, she got to the hotel and realized that no one had booked her into a room. And she went to Bryce Remsburg after about several hours of trying to find some place to sleep. And Remsburg basically said to her, "Not my problem," and left. And I'm just like, whoa! For someone who's always about the tolerance and the SJW-ness that Remsburg is, like, what a cunt move! I couldn't believe it. Like, where I come from, like, some woman goes, "I don't have a place to sleep. No one's going to help me." And I was told that I have a place to sleep. I'd just take my room. I'll go sleep on the bench outside. I don't know. Maybe one of the bums got some beef jerky I can just snack on. I don't know. I'll figure it out. I'll sleep underneath a car. Wouldn't be the first time. Like, you do the right thing, Remsburg. Ugh, yeah. So many shitty people in wrestling.
Yeah. I mean, it sucks to say it, but I mean, there's shitty people in wrestling. There's shitty people in basically every sport. There's shitty people in every form of entertainment. There's just shitty people everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is what's becoming, or I don't even know if it's becoming readily apparent. I feel like it's been apparent for quite some time.
Well, we've talked before about how many accusations there have been for a long time over a variety of companies. This to us, we've talked about this shit before. Not necessarily these specific allegations, but we've talked before about the WWE allegations. Vince McMahon, Randy Orton. These aren't new things, and the fact that people are like, "I'm so flabbergasted," like, what? How? How do you not know? And for a lot of people, I don't think it was not knowing. I think it was not caring. They didn't care enough to get in. They didn't care enough to get involved. They didn't care enough to make it their problem. They didn't care enough to be a decent human being. And I think that might be at a level to be as bad as what was going on. Because when you turn a blind eye to someone in need, like, it's one thing to not be able to help them. If you show up on scene and someone's choking, but you don't know how to make a fucking slit in their throat to put like a little tube in there. What the fuck am I thinking of? A tracheotomy? Yeah. If you don't know how to do a tracheotomy, like, no one's gonna blame you. Like, you're trying. Like, you can't get the thing out. You're doing your best. Like, we get it. Like, you tried. But to look at someone suffering and go, not my problem. It's fucking gross. That's fucking gross. And the thing is, dude, like, with all these things, I know you're not as involved with the onlineness of it all.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll tell you one thing I've learned over the last week. Cody Rhodes is all full of shit. Everything he's ever said, everything, like, we're going to be super tolerant, we're going to be open to listening, we need to do better. He's full of shit. 3 of his employees have been accused of a variety of things. Justin Roberts, Christ bag, Jimmy Havoc. Then you have Bryce Remsburg, granted not illegal, but just a giant shitty move. Then Joey Janela's going after women online for not reporting things they never saw before. Literally, Joey Janela is shaming women, accusing them of, oh, you're going to go after my Quackenbush, but you're not going to go after so-and-so. And the woman's like, I didn't see so-and-so do anything. And he's like, yeah, whatever, okay. And then he's like insulting her on like a private message. I'm like, well, I mean, he's Joey Janela. He's always been a piece of shit. Like, I keep telling people, like, these aren't characters. These aren't gimmicks, people. These are real people who act like this. Like Joey Janela, Matt Riddle. Like, these are shitbags. I don't know why you guys are so quick to say, oh, it's a gimmick. It's not. They're making money off the real personality, which is smart. I mean, that's how you're supposed to do it. But, like, when someone's a douche, someone's a douche. Cody hasn't said anything publicly about any of the accusations against his company. Justin Roberts, I think, is still actively employed with the company. And he's been accused of trying to solicit news from a 17-year-old.
Yeah. See, and that's the problem with the problem that AEW has had from the beginning is that it's a company of best friends. It's a company of the boys. So when something like this happens, I'm not surprised that no action has been taken for this yet. The only thing I did see that they have cut Joey Ryan, erased Joey Ryan from their history for whatever that's worth. But yeah.
Well, yeah, but only after Impact already fired Joey Ryan. Like they weren't even the first one to do anything about Joey Ryan. And now the thing is, like, let's play devil's advocate, because I'm always about looking at things from both sides. Let's assume that the Justin Roberts stuff is a false accusation.
Yeah.
It's possible. I don't believe it is, but it's possible. Why wouldn't Cody say we are taking these allegations seriously, and when we have concluded an investigation, we will update you about what we are going to do next, or something to that effect?
Yeah.
And now, to be clear, I'm not saying that Brian Cage or Chris Jericho or Colt Cabana or Tony Schiavone or anyone needs to do it. Cody Rhodes is an EVP. He's an executive vice president. Kenny Omega, the Bucks, they're all EVPs. Brandy Rhodes is a chief brand officer. None of them said anything. But
yes.
so okay. A lot of women were like, if it didn't happen to me, but I'm still here for you if you need it. Or other women were like, I feel that I'm now encouraged to speak on my own about this. And all these women are just women. They're wrestlers. None of them are EVPs or CBOs or whatever. So when Brandy said, "I've spoken out too," Zach, I was hangry, because she's basically turning a blind eye to all the women who are accusing her talent, but she wants y'all to feel bad for her. Super big brave, Brandy. Oh, that pissed me off. Like, if she was just Brandy Rhodes, wife of Cody, manager, on-screen talent, I wouldn't have any issue. I wouldn't. But she's the executive brand officer. Yeah. And her talent's being accused of shit.
Yes. And certain recent events that we've covered on ComicCorp, particularly in terms of Daniel Panabaker and all the shit that's being thrown at her. I'm
all the dumb shit, by the way.
A whole lot of dumb shit that doesn't make any fucking sense. One of the things that irritated me the most was the calling her racist because she didn't tweet anything about all the stuff that's been going on. And but that irritated me because there's, just because someone doesn't say something on Twitter is not the holy grail of information, people. I'm sorry. That's not how that works. Some people will choose, hey, Twitter's not how I'm going to choose to respond. That being said, Daniel Panabaker, for as much as we know, has nothing to do with anything that's going on with that. When you are the EVP or the chief brand officer, or if you are one of the leaders of the company, you need to at least say, we are taking the steps to look into these matters, and we will keep you posted.
Mm-hmm. I fully agree. If you're someone who is in charge of something big and you have talent that is being affected by a situation, it is your prerogative and your duty to come in and make a statement.
Yes.
I don't need you to be 24/7. I don't need you to be, 48/4, Like, do whatever you got to do, but address it.
Yes,
The only thing,
and we're not
yes,
we're
go on.
not saying necessarily just throw them to the wolves.
No.
Because again, all of these claims need to be looked into, they need to be investigated, they need to be corroborated.
Mm-hmm.
But make sure that you are saying that these steps are being taken.
And that's the thing that AEW is not doing. The only thing AEW did was they posted a statement saying that we've sent Jimmy Havoc to rehab and we will readdress his status with the company when he's done. The thing is, though, I read the law. I read the Florida rehab law that they have. It doesn't cover entertainment contracts, number one. Number two, it doesn't prohibit being fired for cause. What the law prohibits is being fired for that instance. So if you show up to work because you're an alcoholic, you cannot be fired. If you show up to work and molest someone and you're an alcoholic, you can be fired. So they are blatantly protecting Jimmy Havoc because the law does not prohibit them from firing Jimmy Havoc. Jimmy Havoc has been accused by multiple people for the same crimes: abuse, assault, misconduct. If it's one person, you can go, okay, a predator doesn't only strike once. There's some suspect nature here. I'm not going to go whole hog on either side. But when there's like 6 people, or in the case of Joey Janela, 30, 70,000 dozen, well, yeah, it's pretty fair to say he's probably a fucking terrible person. So when it comes to Jimmy Havoc, there's more than enough out there. Like we've seen him punch people who are fans. We've known about that for years. He went and punched Excalibur at a AEW business dinner after a show in November. He was drunk then, assaulted a colleague. Cody didn't do shit. Because Cody's a bitch. Cody is literally everything Vince McMahon is, but he sold us on a bill of false goods. Kenny Omega, this champion of women's wrestling, has no problem putting women in harm's way by not demanding publicly that they fire Jimmy Havoc. They have no problem with that. What's Justin Roberts going to do next? Jake Hager was alleged. I don't know how true that is. He was never publicly named, so I don't want to get into that. But there's so many allegations against AEW talent that for Cody to be tweeting at his wife or his wife to be tweeting bikini photos, going for them thirst tweets, if you will, in the middle of a sexual, reckoning, a wrestling reckoning. And they're just, fucking chantling off into the fucking sunset like nothing's happened. It's like, what? How are you guys living with yourself? And it was bad enough when I thought the Impact crew was going to do the same thing. I was like, D'Amore's going to sweep this on the rug. He's never going to do anything to Elgin. Elgin's unfucking touchable. Dave Crist, if he gets fired, then like half the roster's trained by him. They're all going to leave. They're fucked. Like, the most they can probably do is fire Joey Ryan, but he's got so many friends. And then it turns out that everyone fucking hates Dave Crist. The Rascals hate him. Myron Reed, the 4th Rascal, hates him. Most of the people who've trained with him or trained for him hate him. So I'm like, oh, okay. I guess firing him wouldn't be too hard. And apparently he was already on the way out. It's like the whole reason why Jake Crist apparently turned on his brother was because they were going to basically push Dave out the door because he has become a problem.
Honestly, just from the way they've been, without knowing any of the behind the scenes stuff, just the way they've been using Dave for the past year, probably, it's been pretty apparent that they don't really have anything for him and we're leading him away.
I don't think it's so much even that they didn't have anything for him. I think it's because they were purposely trying to distance themselves from him so that they could write out the contract. Because, like, for the last year, Jake's been in forefront in front of the cameras. You know, he won the X Division title. He's been in big feuds. You know, he was the golden draw. And his brother, throughout that entire timeline, barely competed. And I think there's a lot to that.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's still a lot. Yeah, I guess we'll have to wait for a shoot DVD to eventually come out.
So, I don't know if you saw Brock Lesnar's name getting added to this list.
No.
So apparently, Terry Reynolds has said that Brock Lesnar once in the locker room once exposed his genitals to her.
I 100% believe that.
I don't find it hard to believe.
Let's see. I'm on here looking. How long ago was it? Do you remember?
Looks like this just broke today.
Okay.
Here, I'll shoot you something from the New York Post.
Oh, The Post.
The Post.
It's from 2 days ago. WWE legend Terry Reynolds accuses Brock Lesnar of sexual harassment, reveals why she has no respect for him or Sable. Women'sProWrestling.com. Oh, sorry, it's Women'sPW.com. Reynolds' appearance on the podcast aired this. Yeah, I hate when the website's like, it's loaded. And now it's loaded again. Like, where was I? Right, Reynolds' appearance on the podcast this Sunday. During her appearance, she was asked about her thoughts on former Women's Champion Sable. The reason why I was never impressed with Rena Sable was because she put her career in front of her daughter, and I just never, ever would do that. For context, she does have a daughter with Dustin Rhodes by the name of Dakota. Dustin also has a transgendered son and a daughter from his current marriage. I think they're stepchildren, technically. I found out that Rena, Terry Reynolds continues. I found out that Rena had been with Mark on all of those, like with the whole tour. I'm like, Rena, how can you leave Maria for that many days? Her words to me were, Mark needs me. And I immediately spat back and said, need you for what? What does he need you for? For more than Maria? God damn it, Terry, learn to speak. What does he need you for more than Maria would need you for? She was like, well, making some food, cooking some eggs in the hotel rooms and stuff, and make sure I've got him in the gym. I remember thinking, what kind of mother are you? I just never have any respect for her after that. Then she goes on to say, Reynolds went on to discuss a shocking incident involving Sable's current husband, Brock Lesnar. The way in which she left Mark for Brock, I don't have a lot of respect for Brock. I don't think Brock respects wrestling fans. Brock did something that if it was in today's day and time, he showed his to me and called my name as I was walking by, where he was in the dressing room and opened his towel so I could see his manly bits. Good phrasing, Terry. I would have much rather him not be so disrespectful of a female that's been in the business for as long as I've been. For context, Terry's been in the business since about 92, I think.
Mm-hmm.
She was part of that, what was that awful group in WCW called? They're like something 2000. They're like a bunch of business dudes, and she was like their secretary or some bullshit like that. Look that up, would you? I'm gonna finish reading this. I would have much rather been. I would have much rather him not be so disrespectful of a female that's been in the business for as long as I've been. He knew he was gonna have a lot of power, that they were gonna give him the strap, but at that point, I've been in the business for a long time. I have respect, and what he did was so very, very wrong. From a respect standpoint, from a sexual harassment standpoint, it was wrong. Those two, I think they're made for each other. I'll put it that way. Terry's bringing the fucking heat. We're going to retweet this, and we're going to tweet Senor Marcus and Senor Swish. Because this has gotten fucking thrown under the radar. One thing that I will say about wrestling, wrestling news is that they're fickle as fuck.
The York Foundation.
The York Foundation. Yes, I think like Bobby Eaton was part of it, and like Mike Rotunda. Oh god, that was so terrible. They came to the ring like wearing suits, like fucking. What was the term? Yuppies.
Yeah, yuppies.
You fucking yuppie. Oh. So this all leads us to the fact that Joey Ryan, Dave Crist have been fired. Michael Elgin's been put on suspension. More than likely, Elgin won't make Slammiversary, and I hope he doesn't. Firstly, if he's done more than send unwanted dick pics, and in the case of a woman by the name of Moses Malone, she accused a Michael Elgin, I think, trainee or friend by the name of Sean Orleans of rape. And Elgin basically said that never happened, you're lying, and covered it up. Now, he's not the only dude to ever do that in the history of dudes, and it's a pretty shitty thing to do. But I think that's one of those apologies and, attritions. You make things right.
Yeah.
I think that's enough. I don't think you need to go full ham hog on that one. And as far as the sending of the dick pics, the one thing I will say is that's an arrestable offense. Like if you walk up to some chick in the middle of a street and do it, like you're going to the jail. You're going to the jail.
They're going to the jail.
You're going to the jail. But I would also say it's not on the same level as some of the other allegations we've been saying. So I think if that's true, I think 3 to 6 months is at least fair, if not far more harsh penalties. But if any of the other accusations are true, and I don't know if they are, because again, you're working so much subterfuge. I don't know how you can retain him either. At the very least, he shouldn't be back until after Bound Glory, in my opinion, which means that his spot in Slammiversary needs to go. It already appears that Dave Crist was not going to be booked for Slammiversary, and Joey Ryan, whatever his plans for Slammiversary was, are not relevant anymore. Impact is going as far to erase all of Joey Ryan from their past broadcasts that were taped. Not all of them, not like all the ones that have already aired, but all the ones that are yet to air, like all the new episodes that they have in the can, so to speak. They're editing out Ryan from all those. In fact, we saw a long Bully Ray throwback segment this week.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's so long. So much Bully.
So much Bully.
So that sucked.
Yeah.
But it sucked that we got Bully, not that they edited out Joey Ryan.
Yeah.
So they're completely editing him out. The 6-man tag that they were going to do, it was going to be Joey Ryan, Dave Crist, and I think like Rob Van Dam. Is that right?
Yeah. Against
who was it?
Crazy Steve, and what I heard it was supposed to be Dez and Wentz.
Yes. That's you are correct, sir. So that's been answered. We found out who Johnny Swinger's mystery partner was going to be. It was going to be Rich Swann, but he's like, "Bitch, I'm still hurt." Oh, that was great. So we're going to talk about yes.
You know what gets me about this whole thing? The Joey Ryan thing.
He finally conned you into kind of liking his segments, and then he goes and does this.
Well, there's that. There's that. He finally does something that's actually like, okay, I can sort of get behind this gimmick now. Right? But then it goes back to what we've said the entire fucking time.
We've been saying it for years. Joey Ryan is gross.
Literally, you texted me Joey Ryan amongst a few other names the other day, and I was just like, Joey Ryan makes sense.
I think your exact words for Joey Ryan's the least surprising name out of all of them.
Yes, I mean, just look at his gimmick, and then you find out after all this that his gimmick is basically just him.
Nope.
That's all he is. In real life, and it's like, just look at the gimmick. I wonder if this guy has done any sexual misconduct. Shocking.
Well, as I said before, these gimmicks are extensions of their real lives.
They are, and some of the best gimmicks are exactly that. But at the same time, how many wrestling fans and other wrestlers like defended his gimmick as, oh, it's all just in good fun, it's all for laughs, and we're all just saying, no, this is disgusting, this is gross, we don't want it anywhere near our wrestling.
How pissed do you think Ken Shamrock is?
I still cannot believe that Ken Shamrock actually did that. Actually went along with the gimmick.
You know his check had an extra zero that week.
I would certainly hope so.
Oh, fucking Christ. Good riddance, Joey Ryan, you pervert. Dave Crist, you psychopath. Elgin, we'll see about you. Then, of course, everyone else from AEW and WWE. Because, Velveteen Dream got accused again.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to do anything. Why would they? Why would they? It's the second time in 4 months this man's been accused of doing shady shit with kids. Let's not forget that Vince McMahon was all about the Ring Boy scandal. He even brought back Pat Patterson and said, well, Pat didn't do anything. Well, Pat was named alongside the other two dudes. I don't know why Pat Patterson gets a pass, but the other two dudes are automatically guilty, Vince. I think, to me, that sounds like you sacrificed the smaller names to save the whole. You shamed that dude from Walking Dead when Shane shot the fat dude as they were running out of the little school place with all the med stuff, and the fat dude got eaten. That's what Vince did to the other guys so that Pat Patterson could escape. At least in theory, because they're all named in that scandal. If you don't know about the WWE Ring Boy scandal from back in the 1980s, go look it up. In fact, it actually brought on an entire panel on the Donahue show. and you'll never guess which big bad Davey Boy Dave was on that panel.
Wait, what?
You'll never guess which Dave was on that panel.
Dave Hebner?
Dave Meltzer.
Oh, Dave Meltzer. Oh, wow.
Oh yeah, look it up. It's Dave Meltzer Donahue, I think. If you all don't,
how long has Dave Meltzer been in the wrestling business?
Mid to early 80s.
Wow.
He's in his late 50s.
I mean, it always kind of takes me back with Dave Meltzer because he's just so synonymous with internet wrestling that he seems like he shouldn't have been in the business that long.
Right? I mean, think about it. They call his thing the dirt sheet. They always talk about the dirt sheet that he has because he used to actually run a printed dirt sheet. Think about that shit. That's how old this dude is. This dude knows why you call it rolling up the windows when it's a fucking electric car. Hey, roll up your windows. With what? You mean push the button up my windows? Oh God, that's funny. All right, let's actually get to Impact. Tasha Steelz versus with Kiera Hogan versus Navia and Havoc. I don't know what's going to happen with the OVE crew. Neva, Havoc, Sami Callihan, Jake Crist, Sawyer Fulton, AC Romero. It'll be interesting. Maybe they've all fallen away with Dave Crist, but I would like to know. And frankly, I don't think they need to hate the guy. That's not my place to say. If Sami Callihan goes, I've always loved Dave, and Dave needs a lot of help, but I'm going to make sure he gets it. Dave's career's over, but that doesn't mean our friendship has to be. I'm going to make sure this dude, gets the right help. All right, that's cool, Sammy. But also, Wentz is no, fuck that dude. That dude fucking ruined me. He fucked my life up so bad. I lost so many friends because of him. Fair enough, too. Like, y'all are going to handle this the way y'all are going to handle this. I don't think it's anyone's place to determine one way or another. I know for me, Davey Boy Crist is he's a done in my fandom. And I really like that promo where he cut on Pentagon where he's like, they're fucking ghosts, man. Oh, well. If I got over Benoit, I can get over Dave Crist one time he made me entertained.
Right.
All right.
Apparently, AEW suspended Sammy Guevara.
Oh yeah, that's. So Sammy Guevara said that had something to the effect like, "Did you guys see Sasha Banks the other night? She looks so good, I'd rape her." Yeah, Sammy. And the funny thing is, I don't know if you remember this. Remember when Sammy was in Impact back in like 2017, 2016?
I don't.
He was part of the World X Cup, the same X Cup that brought in Dez.
Oh, okay.
Well, he came under fire just before then from a promotion out of Texas, and I forget exactly what, but he got into it with the promoter and booker of the venue of the company, and it had to do, and I forget exactly what, and I couldn't remember it last night either, but it had to do with a referee who either had just died after the incident or died prior to the incident or something to that effect, and Guevara was being super disrespectful about it. At least that's what I can remember. I can't seem to find it because once you make waves, that's all you can find. So like if you try to look for like Sammy Guevara 2016, it's like, oh, did you mean Sammy Guevara 2020 Sasha Banks? No, I did not. Google. I know what I wrote. Fucking algorithms. So it's kind of one of those things where Guevara's always kind of been a shitbag. AEW's filled with shitbags. It's disgusting. Anyway, so Tasha Steelz and Navia. This was not great. Navia's not good. I was unimpressed. I don't think this was a great match to showcase Tasha. Tasha has a lot of, what's the right word? Buoyancy? She looks to have a lot of pep in her step.
Yes, she does.
Like she looks like she's always on like one of those trampolines that you see like those trampoline parks that are now everywhere. Like she always just like it's like her boots have them like remember that like the Nike Air Pump where like you pump the thing on your shoes and you can jump higher allegedly.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I imagine Tasha Steelz. Like she's kind of got that natural spring or something. And Navia, whatever her name is very much not an athlete. No. And she's not even that big. And I'm just kind of like, did we really have to hire her to appease Jake? Really? Whatever. I guess we need bodies for the tag team division when it finally relaunches, I guess. Ugh, fucking Christ. All right, we're going to just skip that because it was bad. Then we get tensions are running high as Jordan Grace and Deanna Purrazzo joined David Greca, Tommy Dreamer, and Busted Open. This was, I think, added to fill out the time because it really kind of felt wonky. Because like as soon as they ended, it was like, oh, and now Deanna Purrazzo's backstage, like, huh? You what? You sure? They were yelling at each other on the phone call. They're like, no, you're the big dumb face. And they're like, no, you're the big dumb face. And they're like, no, you're the big dumb face. And I'm like, oh, this is super entertaining. Cool. So it is a thing. I super wasn't into it. But, I mean, I don't know. Could be good. What do you think of it?
I mean, it was not great. I mean, I pretty much just kind of skipped through most of it.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
I mean, so yeah, it was the whole, like, I caught, Deanna Purrazzo, like, berating Jordan Grace for interrupting her interview on the podcast, which is like, yeah, not cool for a face to do. So there's that. The segment with Alicia, I didn't really pay attention to because Alicia's not great on the promo.
She tries so hard.
She tries. She gets an A for, and that's about it.
I can't so much disagree. I love Alicia because I think she's spunky.
Mm-hmm.
But I've been raving about the Jazzy hot body gimmick for I don't know how long anymore. I think that Alicia Edwards. I think she would do well to be served with giving her an actual gimmick, and I think something like that would be really good. She's in fantastic shape. She can go. She's just not very charismatic. She doesn't pop.
Yeah.
So I think giving her a gimmick that can help kind of push her into more situations where she doesn't have to be so dynamic, where she can just rely on the character Bible, so to speak, would do wonders for her. So.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, moving on. Johnny Swinger's trying to recruit Rich Swann. I like the idea of pushing Swann more into the untethered kind of, I don't want to say crazy, but like more manic personality. Like he's constantly just like doing the crazy eye and like raising his voice at irregular intervals. I think that would be a really good thing to go with Swann because I think Swann is missing that really big hook.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he has it. Like that's just for whatever reason that's the way he just talks. But if you like amplify it a little bit more, not to the point where it's hokey and cheesy, but just bring it up a little bit, then that would definitely be something.
I don't know if I would be against the hokey and cheese.
Yeah.
Well, think about it. Wasn't Macho Man hokey and cheesy?
I mean, you're not wrong.
Hokey and cheesy works, man. Like, if you can be something that people want to emulate, that's when you made it. Freak out. Tower of power too sweet to be sour. Rich Swann needs to tap into that maniac. Ooh, yeah. Dig it. Sega. No love for the Sega? Okay. Zach grew up a Nintendo man, apparently.
Nintendo for life, man.
But Sega does what Nintendo don't.
You mean go out of business?
No, Sega's not out of business. They just don't have a console anymore.
They don't have consoles anymore.
Yeah.
Now Sonic is part of Smash Brothers, so I feel like Nintendo won that one.
Right? So All Elite posted a video, and it says TNA Championship Press Conference. They meant TNT. This is what happens when you hire your friends, Cody. This is what happens when you believe in nepotism. You cunt. TNA Championship Press Conference. AEW Dynamite. Dumbass. He's got too many hats, friends. He's got too many hats. So then we see this is like my favorite fucking. Ethan Page is like, what? I'm supposed to be impressed by Ken Shamrock? Him rolling around for 40 minutes with a guy named Roy Gracie? And Josh Alexander goes, it's Hoist. And Ethan's like, yeah, who cares? And then like Ken Shamrock rolls up and he's like, really? So that's the way it's gonna be. And like fucking Ethan Page like on top of all the chairs, like, whoa, easy man, easy. And then Josh Alexander gets up and he goes, hey, I'll fight you. And I'm just like, what? This is so dumb. I love it.
See, I like I like that. Just like the past couple of weeks, it seems like at least that matches are just being put together just from random interactions in the back, and that's how wrestling used to be.
Mm-hmm.
We don't need week after week after week of the same matchup to build up the same match at the pay per view. Just give us random shit for 5 minutes every week, and we're good.
Yeah. So this, I obviously like last week, I didn't know if it was going to build anything, but after this week, it does seem like they're going to build a Ken Shamrock and a partner against the North at Slammiversary.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's what you were gleaming from this.
Yeah, I could definitely see that happening.
So last night I was going through all like the wonderful possibilities, like Stephen Bonner, fucking Kurt Angle, Ron Killings, just like anyone from Shamrock's past. And then Marcus goes, it's going to be Sami Callihan, right? I'm like, God damn it, Marcus. Why would you do that?
It's always going to be Callahan.
No one expects the Callahan Inquisition. Well, we'll talk Slammiversary at the end of the show, but there, I guess there's now a reason to wonder if it's going to actually be Callahan, because I guess there's technically a spot in the main event now.
Yeah, that's true.
So, Steve,
or it could, yes, you could even have Shamrock in that spot. I don't know how well he'd hold up in a King of the Mountain match, but if they're even gonna do that,
it hasn't been officially announced as a King of the Mountain match.
True.
We are just petitioning it to be a King of the Mountain match.
Damn well better be.
Should we go on change.org and demand that they make it a King of the Mountain match?
Yes.
This is the petition that really matters. So then we move on. We get Crazy Steve backstage. He says he's blind, or someone alludes to him being blind, and Crazy Steve's like, all right, I may be as blind as a bat, but you ain't the real world champion, Moose. And there's this like random ass dude with sunglasses there that is just like freaking me out. Did you notice him?
I'm sorry. Oh, which one are we talking about?
There was a dude with sunglasses during the Moose Crazy Steve segment, and it was freaking me out. He's just sitting there, Zach. If you're watching the stream, it's up there now.
Let me take a look here. I didn't really pay any attention to him having sunglasses.
He is freaking me the fuck out. What is he doing? Who is he? Why is he there? How come they let gingers in their promotion? These are the questions that I want to know. The truth is somewhere, Zach. This is the Impact Files. I'd watch the fuck out of that, not even gonna lie. Just fucking have like every week like a new wrestler, like, yeah. And then I saw Sasquatch, and it's Moose in like a fur coat. Like Madison Rain's like, every once in a while, someone just, I believe in ghosts, and one time someone took my concealer from my bag, and it had to be a ghost. And she runs out to go get Josh, and then like Rosemary walks in, takes the concealer, and walks out. And then Madison Rain comes back and goes, she did it! It happened again! Scott D'Amore just keeps thinking that there's a Canadian a conspiracy against Canadians from the United States. Oh, God, that'd be funny. Making so many good ideas. Impact, hire me. I'm so good. So, Crazy Steve gets a title match next week. Moose says he's going to send Steve to the hospital when they meet in their TNA World Championship match. Huzzah. Are you excited for Crazy Steve Moose 2?
I can dig it.
Crazy Steve, you are impressing me, sir.
He is. I mean, his just ranting and raving while he danced around Moose. I was like, when the fuck did Crazy Steve start doing this shit?
Right? Like, I want a Crazy Steve Rosemary romance.
I mean, could bring it back. She's doing her succubus thing somewhere.
Right? Maybe she turns Johnny Bravo into Bombastic Bravo. And then Bombastic Bravo and Crazy Steve can kind of chill.
Yeah.
Deanna Brazzo debuted against Alicia Edwards. And it was a squishy squash match.
Squishy squash.
Squishy squash. Poor Alicia. She needs a tag team partner. Put her with Kylie Ray. Put them in the tag team division because they need a tag team belt. You bring back the knockout tag team titles. Do it, you cowards. Then we get Giant Swingers having a hard time finding a tag team partner. Rich Swann X, Suicide X, Hernandez X, Taya X. That was funny. So he asks Rich Swann. Swann's like, I'm not going to fight Willie Mack, and I'm still injured, yo. And then Suicide's all like, and Johnny Bravo's all like, what? And then Suicide's all like, and then Johnny Bravo's all like, all right, never mind. Supermax is like, yeah, I'll do it if you can beat me in an arm wrestling match. And I kept thinking of all those YouTube videos of guys snapping their forearms doing arm wrestling matches.
Right?
I will never
popping their elbow out of the socket.
All right, I will never arm wrestle again.
No.
I don't even care if like the normal man can't cause that kind of damage. Like, I don't care if it's you, Zach. And here's the thing, like, if you don't know this by now, folks, I'm a bit bigger than Zach. I'm a bit stronger than Zach. I was a football player. I worked out a lot. So like, even if it's Zach, who's like average Zach, I'm not gonna arm wrestle him. I don't want to be on the other side of that conversation. How'd you destroy your forearm? 130-pound dude. He's super fucking strong in one forearm. It's ridiculous. He said
your arm doesn't go that way.
His exact words were, I've been training for this for a decade. And I'm like, training for what? He goes, you'll see, bitch. And I went, I probably shouldn't have done this. And then my arm was in two places. I gave myself a high five, though. That's pretty cool. You mean you slapped hands? No, I slapped my right hand into my right elbow. And everyone's all like, oh, that's not possible. Well, it is when you have a third joint. I thought that was funny. Then we got Johnny Swinger asking Taya Valkyrie, and Taya's just like, ew. And I need to say this. Taya Valkyrie is looking, we'll say, steam kettle. Because she's hot. Like, I don't know what it was about the attire and, like, you know, her hair and just everything about it was working. And I'm just like, what's up, girl? Oh, Taya's got it going on. She's all I want, and it's been about 3 hours. So Taya's looking fit. Good for Taya. I know Taya's had a lot of issues with her body image over the years. She hasn't spoken directly about it, but she's alluded to it. But she has said in recent years that she's happy where she is. She's gained some weight, but it's not like, you know, if you look at her in her Lucha Underground AAA days, like, she was extremely skinny, like Angelina Love 2010 skinny, and now she's more Jordan Grace. Like, she's very muscular. You know, she's got a lot more definition to her. I think she looks fantastic, and while she was definitely a lot more athletic when she was with AAA, but I feel like her style is a lot more sustainable now. You know, you think of someone like a Ricochet, or you know, you think of some of these Stardom girls, and they're doing all these crazy ass spots, and you're like, oh, that's not good for your body. But then you look at like a Jordan Grace or a Tessa Blanchard, or like even a Gail Kim, and these women had or could have long careers because they're not doing a lot of craziness, and they're putting on muscle to help, you know, deter injuries, because muscle and wrestling does go hand in hand. So I think Taya's story has always been one of success and positivity, and the changes she's made to keep herself healthy, I think, are phenomenal. And even though she's a villain, she could be an inspiration for all the girls out there. You go, Taya. Just, you know, go with Johnny Bravo and Rosemary because that's a fucking great angle right now.
It's so great. And yet, Rosemary hasn't been seen for the past couple weeks.
I thought we saw her last week.
Bullshit. Did we?
Could have sworn we did. Wasn't last week the main event with Diana Pratz? Not Diana. Jordan and Taya?
Was that last week? I thought that was 2 weeks ago.
I could have sworn that was last week. What was last week's show?
Last week was Eddie versus Ace Austin.
Oh, yeah, you're right. So 2 weeks, no Rosemary. Although I wouldn't be surprised if we were supposed to get Rosemary this week, but she got shifted.
Yeah, probably
due to the Ryan.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely feel like Taya's match tonight was not supposed to be tonight.
No, I definitely don't think it was. Then we get Ken Shamrock. He's on his way to the ring for his match. Then Josh Alexander's like, "Hey, what's up? I'm a wild Pokemon." And Ken Shamrock's like, "I don't get that reference." And then Ethan Page is like, "Do you get this one?" And Shamrock's like, "Which one?" And Ethan Page is like, "Slap." And then Shamrock, as he's falling, "No, I get that one." And then the North beat the shit out of Ken Shamrock. I'm so hoping that Kurt Angle does show up at Slammiversary and Kurt Angle and Ken Shamrock win the tag team titles. That would be so cool. So cool. Security breaks it up. Then we go to Taya versus John E. Bravo with Susie. Versus Susie, sorry.
Wow.
Yeah. Just all sorts of stuff. The one thing I'll say about Susie, really lacking any type of physicality.
Yeah.
There were at least 2 times when she went running to the corner that I remember where she pulled up like 3 steps before, and I'm like, oh, okay, that looks dumb. So I don't know if this is a situation where she just doesn't have it anymore, or if she ever had it physically. But we've questioned her athleticism and her willingness to kind of go above and beyond in the ring before, and this is another one of those instances where Susie Sue Young, she doesn't look like she's a physical enough competitor, but her gimmick work is almost too good.
Yeah.
Not to kind of eat bad matches.
Yeah, it's definitely a case of, the Sue Young gimmick, and especially with the addition of the Susie gimmick, there's such a great dichotomy there that you kind of have to be a little forgiving of the lack of great in-ring ability.
Mm-hmm. You're not wrong.
Yeah.
Taya wins thanks to Johnny Bravo. Not surprising.
Mm-hmm.
We then get Chris Bay, and I'm going to tell you what. I wasn't really kind of getting what he was going for when he first debuted, but he has like this pompous, almost artist type of persona. Like this like smooth operator. Don't start singing the song, Chad. Don't start singing the song. Smooth operator. God damn it, Chad. He's got almost like this magnetic personality that like he can get people to kind of like fall in line, and it's really kind of almost narcissistic in its presentation, and I'm starting to really vibe with the heelness because like you can tell he's not a good dude, but he's like, he's being very complimentary at times to Johnny Bravo, and it's like, or Johnny Swinger, I mean. So it's like, all right, this is starting to be something. But this week he was unimpressed with Johnny Swinger's lack of ability to find someone. But that turns into an opportunity for Rohit Raju.
Here you go, Rohit.
Yeah, Rohit. So then we get the Deaners and Willie Mack versus Johnny Swinger, Rohit Raju, and Chris Bay. I like this match. What do you think of this match?
I dug this match. I definitely see. I definitely know what you talked about with Chris Bay. That just like the way he moves in the ring, it's just so smooth and it's so fluid. Like you definitely you definitely see the whole ultimate finesser thing,
Mm-hmm.
and then, like he'll just randomly just do like a slide that doesn't make any sense, but it's just so smooth and so graceful that you can't really say anything against it. It's he definitely needs to be a little more outspoken, I think, but in ring wise, his movements definitely portray what the character he's going for.
Yeah, he's very kind of smooth, I think is the right word.
Mm.
You think of like some of the R&B singers that are out there, and like their movements when they dance are very smooth. Like almost like they don't really need to transition off their feet so much, and they're able to go from one movement to another without a lot of like joint movement. That's what Chris Bay comes off the screen as. Like in the ring, he seems so effortless. And when he's doing his promos, he seems almost disconnected, almost to the point where he's only as invested in the person or the moment as much as he needs to be to get what he wants out of it. And I like that. Like, that's a great villain because it's a very real villain. So good for Chris Bay. Good match. The villains win, though. Oh, no. Next up, we get my boys, Luster the Legend and Adam Thorne. So they're backstage yelling at D'Lo Brown. Ban, tan, 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 tan. And they're like, oh, look at old man D'Lo. And then like TJP walks in and goes, hey, you let him grade his papers. And I'm like, wait, D'Lo's a teacher? What? When did that become a thing? And then Falaba apparently knows now about 40 words in his lexicon. So good for Falaba. They're like, we're going to fight next week. And then Adam Barnes is like, oh, we don't care. Okay. You want to fight now? And TJP's like, no, thank you. And Luster's like, why? TJP's like, I don't know. I got to get lifts in my shoes. I don't know. Go away. So I thought the funniest line was, you two clean-cut kids or whatever it was. And he's looking at Luster and he says, now listen, Adam Thornstowe is, well, Adam Thornstowe is a tattoo at this point in his life.
Yes.
But Luster doesn't have nearly as many. And TJP said it to Luster, and I'm thinking to myself, TJP, you have more tattoos than Luster. What? So I thought that was funny as hell. So we get a match next week, which I'm excited for. I'm a big Reno Scum guy. And with OVE effectively dead in the water and that whole thing being broken up, I think Reno Scum can definitely come in and find their way. So I'm hoping for the best. We'll see what happens. Then the main event rolls around. It's Madman Fulton versus Eddie Edwards. Eddie's basically in control for most of the match, and this is a really good match from Madman Fulton, I thought. But then again, it's with Eddie, so what do you like?
Right.
Me, with my legs tied in a way so I'm perpetually kneeling with only one hand free and blindfolded, could have a 3-star match with Eddie Edwards. He's that good. I loved the Tiger Bomb he hit on Sawyer. Like, Sawyer's not a small dude.
He's not.
So when he hit that Tiger Bomb, I'm like, ooh. Whoa. Then he, well, it says Eddie hit the Tiger Driver, but I thought it was a Tiger Bomb. Could be a Tiger Driver, I guess. I thought a Tiger Driver was something completely different. I could be wrong. Maybe I'm wrong.
Say.
It's the double underhook power bomb, folks. Could be a Tiger
Yes.
Driver. But it's more of a power bomb. I don't know. This is also the same Impact website that said Tessa Blanchard was on TV the week she wasn't, so who the fuck knows? So he nearly gets it. Ace kind of does a little finagling, a little fanoodling, a little conniving. He's all like, I forgot what Ace did. That's why I'm being kind of vague. I just remember Ace did something. I think Ace like hooked a foot or something.
I think the only thing Ace did was get on the apron at one point, and then Eddie kicked him off.
Okay. Fulton ends up getting a win with a swinging black hole slam.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, I said swam, and I didn't mean to. I'm so sorry. Zach, I've been telling you for 5 weeks now that there's after credits for Impact that you need to watch.
Yes, and I've seen this one.
Okay, good, because for 4 weeks now, you haven't. I'm glad that we are now finally on the same page. So after D'Lo Brown got yelled at by Reno Scum, he was like sitting there talking to somebody, and he's like, "We need to get the band back together." And I'm like, "Okay, who's he talking to?" His only tag team partner in Impact was AJ Styles in '03, and I'm pretty sure he's busy. And then he gets up, and you hear the ten, 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 and I'm like, "Oh no, it's the Aces and Eights."
Oh no!
Oh no!
Whatever could do?
Oh no! So I don't know. I'm kind of down with the idea, especially if it leads to Doc Gallows and Carl Anderson coming in as members of the Aces and Eights.
Yeah.
Like the thing with the Aces and Eights, it kind of gets the same mixed brevity that the Main Event Mafia got.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very high in the Main Event Mafia. First time around. The Aces and Eights, on the other hand, it had so much potential.
It did.
I don't have an issue with Devon being revealed because did you hear that crowd in Arizona when he was revealed? They were fucking perplexed.
Mm-hmm.
There was a legitimate gasp. The Bully Ray revelation was great. Adding Mr. Anderson. My problem with Aces and Eights, I think, is my same problem with Fortune. Not Fortune. Immortal. They made all the right moves, but made them all at the right time for all the wrong reasons. Having Mr. Anderson join Ace and Eights was the right call, but having him do it only because I think Devon ended up having his contract expire. No, that was before he joined Ace and Eights. I forget why Anderson was put in. I think there was an injury or something like that, and Anderson was put into the group to kind of round things out. You know, that was why they put Scott Steiner in Immortal, and that was why they put Kurt Angle in Immortal. And those were all the right calls to make, but just at the wrong times. Like when Jeff Hardy, when he was in Immortal, got, you know, his whole substance abuse shit in March of 2011, the first thing they should have done the very next night is brought in Kurt Angle. Instead, they waited until like August or July.
Uh-huh.
That made no sense. Because the whole point was that this was going to be like a super group. And having them compete with, having them be with Fortune didn't make a lot of sense. Well, whatever. And in hindsight, Ace and Eight's group was actually quite strong. You had Bully, Devon, Anderson, you had Doc Gallows, you had Nux.
I forgot about Nux.
No, you can't forget about Nux. I know like Wes Briscoe and Garrett Bischoff are in there, but like...
Yeah.
I think the funny thing was like Garrett Bischoff's in there and everyone's like, oh no. Garrett. How could you?
Basically.
Why? Pourquoi? Doth have protest too much.
I still love the Taz reveal.
Well, yeah, I was actually just going through to see who else was in the group because I wanted to remember. Brooke Tessmacher was in there for a while as the first lady, but Taz's was great because it was at the Brooke Hogan Bully Ray wedding.
Yes.
And they're all standing there in their coats, and like they're like, Bully Ray, are you a giant bag of dicks? I do. That's not what I asked. Bully Ray, are you 50 pounds of shit in a 45-pound bag? I do. Again, you're missing the point of the questions. Fair enough. Brooke, are you absolutely talentless? I am. Hey.
Someone listen.
Did you only get hired because of nepotism? I do. God damn it. Why do I bother? And then Taz's like, whoa, hang on. Are you sure you want to do this? I don't know why he sounds like Oscar the Grouch, but here you go. Ooh, Cookie Monster. Hey, do you want to do this? I mean, Taz is as tall as Kermit. It works.
Yeah, it does.
So he's like, are you sure you want to do this, brother? And Bully's like, what are you doing, Taz? And Taz is like, man, I'm hot in here. Bully's like, this is not the time for a Nelly song, Taz. And then he takes off his jacket, and like the audience reacts, and no one knows why. And then Taz turns around, and then all of a sudden just gets swarmed by guys. Like, oh, that was a really cool fucking angle.
Was possibly the honestly, I feel like that might be the best staged like reveal for someone to be in like a heel stable. It's just the like you said, him taking off the jacket and then the audience directly behind him just going crazy, and then it slowly goes around the entire arena as he turns. It was so good.
Like Ace and Eights was not a great week-to-week storyline, but they had some banging moments.
They did.
They really did. Now, to point this out, apparently, I completely forgot about this, but it's 100% accurate. There was supposed to be a reunion at the No Place Like Home event during WrestleMania weekend. And it was going to be Mr. Anderson and D'Lo Brown reforming Ace and Eights in a tag team match, but that obviously didn't end up getting together because they had to suspend everything due to due to the
Rona.
The Rona. Dun, 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 dun. My Corona. Wear a mask, fuckers. Don't get me sick. So, like, that would have been one of those things that, maybe they're doing that at Slammiversary by putting D'Lo with Mr. Anderson, because Mr. Anderson is a free agent, and technically all of the NWA talents are technically free agents as well. So, like, they could bring in James Storm and Chris Harris. A little American Most Wanted, yes, please. And I have a feeling that's what Slammiversary is going to be. I have a feeling it's going to be very much like what the No Place Like Home event was going to end up being. And if that's what they end up doing, like, I'm 110% down with that idea. I think it's a good thing, and I think it's a strong idea, and it gives the show a obvious hook beyond just the who's going to show up to fight moves for the TNA title. It's going to be EC3. Calling it now. I'm banking on it.
Oh man.
Oh man. What if we brought in Tito Ortiz? Brought him back.
Huh.
Put him in the cut, as they say.
Yeah.
I mean, he's only 45. Ken Shamrock's 56. No, I don't want Tito anywhere near pro wrestling. That dude is crazy. That dude fought Alberto Patron in a fight. Like, for realsies. All right, so that takes us to Slammiversary. The matches we know for sure. We know. Let me adjust this real fast. We know that Jordan Grace has now been booked against Dana Prazzo for the Knockouts Championship. I think this is like my only big gripe. Like, I said on Sunday, if Joey Ryan and Dave Crist and Elgin weren't punished, and in the case of Joey Ryan and Dave Crist fired, I'd stop watching. I'd be done.
Mm-hmm.
But now that I know that they have been punished and the Elgin situation is going to play out like it's going to play out, whether it's going to be him getting reinstated in a few months or fired, they're at least putting out the optics that they're doing something. I hope they are doing something, but now I can get off the fucking soapbox and get back into my fandom. So I'm glad about that.
Mm-hmm.
So my only gripe, though, with how Impact is running is the use of the women to an extent. I don't like Tessa's world champion. I don't like intergender wrestling as a whole. And I hope we get rid of that now that the whole Joey Ryan kind of push for it is tainted beyond belief. I like the idea of making the Knockouts Championship a women's world championship because you don't see women fighting men in mixed martial arts, and I do believe that pro wrestling is at its best when it's emulating a combat sport. That's just my opinion. The other gripe I have is I don't like that there are women, and Kiera Hogan even touched on this, I think, in kind of a work shoot promo, that there are people who constantly jump the line. And Deonna Purrazzo's jumping the line. Now, I don't mind Deonna Purrazzo being the next world champion or the next Knockouts world champion or the next Knockouts champion, whatever you want to do with that. But the fact that we're hot-shotting her into this title match, like, isn't that, like, we just did that, didn't we? Who did we just do that with?
We literally just did that with Tennille Dashwood.
Yeah. Yeah, that's who it was.
It's just... I don't know, like, and they keep saying week after week that this is like the deepest, most impressive Knockouts division possibly in the entire history of the division. Then why are we having to just grab people from outside and immediately put them in the title picture?
I mean, yeah, Ty defeated Tennille Dashwood last Bound for Glory.
Yeah.
Bound for Glory.
I mean, we have Jordan Grace, we have Taya, we have Rosemary, we have. I mean, I wouldn't say Kiera or Tasha are ready for it right now, but I mean, you could make these matches happen and let them happen organically. Now, I said when Deonna Purrazzo first debuted and she locked that wicked armbar on Jordan Grace, so like that was a fantastic debut. But then I also said have her do that and have them not speak or talk to each other again until Bound for Glory, or what have you, and just let it stand at that.
I think there's some real logic to that. I really do. I think it's one of those things where you can easily get away with pushing this off just a little bit by basically saying to Purrazzo from Scott D'Amore, listen, yeah, you made a big ol' impact, and then he looks at the camera and winks. But at the end of the day, you don't make the matches. I do. And I don't like that you're trying to jump the line. Rosemary gets the next shot at Jordan at Slammiversary. And then you could spend, 4 weeks. When is Slammiversary? It's July 12th? 18th.
I think it's the 18th.
It's the 18th. So you still got 1, 2, 3... 3 weeks of tapings? 3 weeks of shows? I can count.
Yeah.
So the 30th, the 7th, and the 14th. 3 shows. Not 4 shows, 3 shows, because we just had the 4th show. So we have 3 weeks until Slammiversary. You could easily do, 4 weeks of Rosemary promos to get into this.
Yeah.
You could easily have, had foresight, because this is technically, if you want to be specific, 7 weeks ago. When Purrazzo was coming in that we knew about, you could easily have had like Kiera Hogan go on like a 5-match winning streak whilst you were debuting Purrazzo, and you could even have debuted Purrazzo instead of this soon, the week before Slammiversary, and put her in that armbar, and then Kiera Hogan, who has 5 wins over Madison Rayne, Nevaeh, Su Yung, or Susie. You could have her knock off a local talent, and then Madison Rayne or someone. Or Havoc. And then you could have her go into the Purrazzo on a 5-match winning streak. Not Purrazzo, Grace with a 5-match winning streak. And plus Grace now has a bum arm. So Kiera Hogan has the opportunity to win the belt, in the eyes of the fans. Because, Grace has the bum arm. Kiera Hogan's on a hot streak. Purrazzo's, you got a vendetta against Grace. It's a solid enough storyline to draw. You're not putting it in the main event. You don't need it to be the hottest thing since sliced bread coming out of a toaster. Yeah. Oh, he made an actual heat joke. He's got the dad jokes, and he's not even a dad. What? Fucking crazy. I'm crazy good. So, easily done. What else do you think we're going to see? Do you think it's going to be Sami Callihan and Ken Shamrock, or do you think we're going to get a surprise?
I would like there to be a surprise. But I definitely I feel like it's going to be Callahan, just the way that a few weeks have been. But if we did turn out to be a Kurt Angle, that would be fantastic. Get dual ankle locks locked in on the North. That'd be amazing.
Dual ankle lockers. So let's say
Mm-hmm.
it's Shamrock and an opponent or a partner to be named later. Could be anyone.
Okay.
It could be Ric Flair. It could be Hulk Hogan, Kurt Angle. It could be Ken Shamrock's brothers Frank. Could be anyone. I expected you to laugh at the Frank thing because I didn't think you knew that there was actually a brother named Frank.
I did not know there was a brother named Frank.
There actually is a brother named Frank, and he is arguably even better than his brother was at MMA.
Fantastic.
This is zero jokes. The Shamrock brothers actually aren't real brothers. They were adopted by the same surrogate father, and they are kind of close-ish. Frank's never been into pro wrestling, though, but he was one of the greatest MMA fighters of all time to the point where he retired from the UFC because he had no more competition. It's pretty fucking impressive. They both have a long-standing rivalry with Tito Ortiz as well, so guess they're more brotherly than they thought. But like, it doesn't matter who it ends up being. Let's just say Ken and company versus the North. Do you think Ken Shamrock wins Impact Gold?
I think they do. I think because it's Slammiversary, and like you said, Slammiversary seems to kind of be taking over what No Place Like Home was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
I feel you have Shamrock win a title, maybe not the world title, but have him win a championship at Slammiversary at No Place Like Home. And this is right before he's going to the Impact Hall of Fame. So why not? It's, and he doesn't have to hold it for a time, but it's just a nice moment, a nice little circular moment, bringing us back to where we started.
Now, I'm going to throw out a name, and it's completely, dependent on what he's doing health-wise. But what about Scott Steiner? Now, I don't know where he's at health-wise. He did collapse at the at tapings back in March. I think he had surgery on his heart. Let me see if I can find something about that. His wife said something. Let's see. For all concerned, Scott is okay. His family's grateful. Everybody's concerned. Fuck you, Hulk Hogan. Could have sworn his wife had something to say in this article. Oh, nope, here it is. Okay, first of all, I want to thank Impact Wrestling for taking such great care of my husband. We appreciate all the well wishes, thoughts, and prayers. He will make a 100% recovery.
That's good.
Operating Twitter afternoon. She said we would take exactly what happened to the wrestler who is known as the Freakzilla and the Big Bad Booty Daddy is still unclear. Several wrestling blog sources have indicated some sort of heart issue could be to blame. PW Insider sources went on to claim Steiner was set to undergo some sort of heart procedure on Saturday while the wrestling world awaits official word on what's going on with Steiner. And when he'll be back in the ring, several key figures have shared their condolences. What? You don't share condolences when someone's okay. Who wrote this?
Schmucks.
Oh, yeah, it's comicbook.com. An expression of sympathy, especially on the occasion of death. God damn it, comicbook.com, you cunts. It's technically popculture.com, which is comicbook.com's culture side. Fucking douchebags. Lots of love and prayer for Scott Steiner's currently in the hospital, Billy Corgan says. If you're a wrestling fan, you know why Big Papa Pump means so much to us. Because he's fucking crazy.
Yes.
Full stop. If his nephew Bronson Rick Steiner does not stay with the Baltimore Ravens, because he did get signed as an undrafted free agent, I say Impact signs Bronson Rick Steiner as quickly as possible. I'm not being a douche by saying Rick Steiner, by the way. That's really their last name. They are Scott and Rick Steiner. Rick Steiner.
Is that how it's pronounced?
That's how I pronounce it. How would you pronounce it? Rick Steiner?
Rick Steiner? Rick Steiner?
Rick Steiner. Rick Steiner. Rick Steiner. I think it's Rick Steiner. It could be wrong. I don't speak the German. It would be a real dick move to call your son Rick Steiner.
Wouldn't it?
I would totally do that.
Oh, I know.
Like if my last name was like Rick Steiner, I would definitely call my son Rick. And then like every time I say him, Rick Steiner, and he just glares at me. And I'd be like, "What are you looking at, boy?" And he goes, "You're not my real father." I'm like, "Yeah, I was. I was there when I made you, bitch." And he just stares at me and goes, "I want to be adopted." And I would look at him and go, "All right, Rick Steiner, you're gonna have to keep the name though." My son throws a giant bowling ball at my head. It's engraved on it, says Father of the Year. I've put, 20 whatever to 20 whatever, the length of like how long he's been alive on the bowling ball, and he throws it at my head. Father of the Years. Oh, that'd be funny as fuck. So, I would like to see it be, someone like Kurt Angle or Scott Steiner or even Rick Steiner or Stephan Bonner or, any other, MMA convert would be great. Frank Mir, Dan Severn. Ooh, Dan Severn. Let's do Dan Severn. That would be great. I would be down for that. Steve Blackman. Ooh, now I'm just getting excited.
Don't get yourself too worked up.
Oh, no, I gots to. So we will see how things go forward from here. Any other things that has piqued your interest, my friend, that you want to touch on?
No, I don't think so.
All righty. We will, I guess, call it a wrap there. We were on for 3 hours last night. Let's avoid that tonight. RealNerdCorp.com. RealNerdCorp.com. You can find us on Twitter at NerdCorp, on Instagram at RealNerdCorp. We're on Podbean at RealNerdCorp.podbean.com. And by downloading the Podbean app to your mobile device and searching for Real Nerd Corp. We are also on Spotify and iTunes by searching for NerdCorp, NerdCorp. All of our WrestleCore, nope, that's the wrong brand. All of our Making an Impact, Wrestling Underground, ComicCorp, Ohio Guys, where we review TV show series, and GameCorp, which, those are pretty self-explanatory. Podcasts can be found under those banners. You can also find us at RealNerdCorp.com, where we upload all the shows right there. And I will be writing a post probably tonight about what I want to see at Slammiversary. So check the website for that when it comes out. We will also be back tomorrow. You're joining us. We are reading the next arc of Why the Last Man, as well as keeping up with the Stargirl. Although I haven't seen anything about Stargirl this week, so I don't know if we had a new episode. But if we did it, we will watch it and talk about it. Not watch it.
Also, can we get a show called Keeping Up with...
I'm sorry, you cut out. Keeping Up with the who?
The Stargirl?
Keeping Up with the Stargirl?
Because that sounds fantastic.
Keeping Up with the Stargirl. It's like Keeping Up with the Joneses, only it's a much better song.
It looks like the last episode was episode 6 with Sportsmaster and
Okay,
Chikara.
so that's this week then.
Okay.
Awesome. All right, so Zachary can be found on Instagram and on DeviantArt at nope, that's Marcus at Radiance 2020 RADIANCE2020, and you can find me as always on Instagram and Twitter. Twitter's at Chad Nerdcorp ChadNerdCorp, and Instagram's at Chad's Photo Hut ChadSPHOTOHUT. I think I covered everything.
I believe so.
All right, then. We're done for the night. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for checking us out. Thanks for giving us a chance. Remember to watch more wrestling, and as always, Zachary, take us home.
I don't have a weird thing to say. Just be good to each other.